Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sajax Too Cool Show, where we speak the truth and nothing but. So today's video is about Charlie Kirk. He's a racist, an unknown racist to me until today, that is. Anyway, he is Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk, who speaks to an audience at the Exposing CRT tour held at the Mayo Clinic Health System in Mankato, Minnesota. It was the second stop of an 8-stop tour where he's visiting universities across America. Yeah, so let me explain this. The Exposing CRT, which is Exposing Critical Racism Theory, is the way they put it. So he faced an overwhelmingly white audience and declared he was going to say things no one dares to say out loud. The white conservative agitator had a counter view that George Floyd was a scumbag, quote-unquote scumbag, he said, unworthy of the attention. Yep, that's right. Racist Charlie Kirk said that. Anyone familiar with Kirk shouldn't be surprised. For years, the conservative provocateur and his group, Turning Point USA, have built a following, inflaming racial divides and stoking outrage. Kirk thrived during President Donald Trump's tenure. The 28-year-old is expanding his reach, trying to rally a next generation of aggrieved white conservatives. On a tour of college towns, he blasts schools and local governments for teaching about racism with a confrontational style some call dangerous. Well, before I continue, let me just stop right there and just say that this is a whole bunch of nothing. It's a whole bunch of hogwash that a whole bunch of Europeans in America, who we call white America, wants to conceal and hide the truth about all their dirty work. That's all this is. That's what it really is based on. But I digress. So Kirk is stoking fear among a group that is coming of age in a time of social restlessness, said Nakima Levi Armstrong, a Minneapolis civil rights lawyer and activist. Quote, he's taking the discontent that some people may be experiencing and combining it with racial animus, which is a dangerous recipe in a country that is still in the midst of racial turmoil, she said. He was quick to assail shutdown orders at the dawn of the pandemic and then claimed falsely that Trump won the 2020 election. He has attacked Olympic gymnast Simone Biles, blamed spiking violent crime on efforts to defund police departments, and months before Youngskin was seizing on parental outrage in Virginia, Kirk had turned to CRT, otherwise known as critical race theory. Kirk's, quote, Exposing Critical Racism Theory tour has promoted recent stops in Alabama, Idaho, Michigan, Oregon, South Carolina, Texas, and Vermont. For 90 minutes, Kirk spoke directly to the virtually all-white crowd and told them radical leftists want them to feel ashamed, even though that's a lie. No one wants anyone to feel ashamed. We're just out here speaking the truth. If you feel ashamed for what your ancestors have done, that's no one but your ancestors. But I digress. So, quote, just because you're a white person does not mean you have to begin apologizing simply for how God made you, unquote, he said. Now, I'm not even going to touch on that. I'm going to let you deal with that yourself, whoever you are who happens to be watching and listening to my video. So he repeated widely debunked claims about George Floyd's criminal record and suggested that the cause of Floyd's death was a drug overdose rather than homicide, as the medical examiner found. Yes, that's right. Charlie Kirk wants us to believe that he's right and the medical examiner is, well, spreading fake news. You know, like what Charlie Kirk is doing. But I digress. Quote, we're just excited. Charlie is here to explain it, unquote, said the senior from St. Michael, a Minneapolis suburb. Quote, There's so many different ways you can look at it, and I'm looking for where I stand on it, unquote. But it demonstrates Kirk's finger is on the pulse of conservative anger, said Peter Montgomery, a senior fellow with the Liberal People for the American Way. Quote, fear-mongering about critical race theory has really seemed to rise to the top of the messaging of the groups I watch, he said. Quote, there's been a pivot toward that, and Kirk has been wise to the fundraising power it promises, unquote. Well, I'm going to end this video off here, but I did want to share this racist named Charlie Kirk from the Turning Point USA. He's the founder. I just want you guys to know just how racist he is. This is the Sage X Too Cool, telling you the truth and nothing but.